Hey there, incredible viewers of Speak English Like a Pro. Welcome back to our channel, where we're all about helping you master English with confidence, flair, and a whole lot of heart. Today, we're diving into something that's going to transform the way you approach this language. How to stop translating in your head and start thinking in English like a pro. If you've ever found yourself stuck trying to convert every word from your native language into English mid-conversation, you know how exhausting that can be. It's like trying to run a marathon while carrying a backpack full of dictionaries. But don't worry, we're going to unpack a ton of practical, fun, and super effective strategies to help you break free from the translation trap and start thinking in English naturally, fluently, and confidently. This is going to be a deep, engaging journey, so grab a cup of coffee, get cozy, and let's make your English brain unstoppable. By the end of this, you'll be thinking in English like it's your first language, and trust me, it's going to feel amazing. So, why is it so hard to stop translating? When you're learning a new language, your brain naturally leans on what it already knows. Your native language. It's like a crutch. You hear an English word, your brain scrambles to find the equivalent in your mother tongue, and then you try to piece together a response. By the time you've done all that mental gymnastics, the conversation has moved on, and you're left feeling frustrated. The goal is to train your brain to bypass that translation step entirely, to think directly in English, so your thoughts flow as smoothly as a native speaker's. It's not about memorizing more words or grammar rules. It's about rewiring how your brain processes language. And the good news? Anyone can do this with the right mindset and practice. Let's dive into how you can make this happen, step by step, in a way that feels natural and even fun. First, let's talk about immersion, because that's the foundation of thinking in English. Imagine your brain as a sponge. If you only dip it in English for an hour a week, it's not going to soak up much. But if you surround yourself with English, through music, movies, conversations, even your own thoughts, that sponge gets saturated and English starts to feel like home. One of the easiest ways to immerse yourself is to make English a part of your daily life, even in small ways. For example, start narrating your day in English. When you're making breakfast, think, "I'm cracking the eggs, now I'm whisking them, time to heat the pan." It might feel a bit silly at first, but this simple habit trains your brain to associate actions with English words directly, without translating. Try it when you're walking to work, doing chores, or even planning your day. The more you describe your world in English, the more natural it becomes to think in it. Another powerful way to stop translating is to lean into visual thinking. Words are great, but your brain loves images. When you hear or say a word, try to picture the thing itself instead of its translation. For example, if someone says apple, don't think of the word for apple in your native language. Visualize a shiny red fruit. If you're talking about running, picture yourself jogging through a park. This technique works because it connects English words directly to concepts, bypassing your native language entirely. You can practice this by playing a mental game. Look around you right now and name 5 things in English, but instead of just saying the word, picture the object vividly. See the texture, the color, the shape. This not only helps you think in English, but also makes vocabulary stick in a way that rote memorization never will. Now, let's get into the magic of self-talk. You talk to yourself all the time. Don't deny it, we all do. Whether you're planning your day, stressing about a deadline, or debating what to eat for dinner, your inner voice is always chattering. The trick is to switch that inner voice to English. This is one of the most effective ways to start thinking in English because it's private, low pressure, and you can do it anywhere. Start small. For example, when you're deciding what to wear, think, should I wear the blue shirt or the red one? Blue looks good with jeans. If you catch yourself slipping back into your native language, gently nudge yourself back to English. Over time, this becomes second nature. I had a student who started doing this while grocery shopping. She'd walk through the aisles thinking, I need tomatoes, milk, and some bread. Within a few weeks, she noticed she was dreaming in English. Talk about a sign you're making progress. Let's talk about exposure. Because the more you surround yourself with English, the less your brain relies on translation. Think of it like moving to a new country. If you're constantly hearing and seeing English, your brain has no choice but to adapt. One way to create this environment is through media. Watch movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos in English without subtitles in your native language. Subtitles can be a sneaky crutch. They pull your brain back to translating. If you need subtitles, use English ones, but try to rely on them less and less. Pick content you enjoy, whether it's a cooking channel, a travel vlog, or a sci-fi series. When you're engaged, your brain absorbs the language naturally. For example, if you love cooking, watch Gordon Ramsay yell about risotto and notice how he uses words like season, simmer, simmer. You're not just learning vocabulary, you're seeing how it's used in real life, which helps your brain connect words to situations, not translations. Music is another fantastic tool. Songs are catchy, emotional, and repetitive, which makes them perfect for language learning. Find English songs you love, whether it's pop, hip-hop, or classical, and listen to them on repeat. Sing along even if you're just mumbling at first. The rhythm and melody help the words stick in your head, and before you know it, you're thinking phrases like, I can't stop the feeling, without translating a thing. Try making a playlist of 5 English songs and listen to it every day for a week. Look up the lyrics, not to translate them, but to understand the story or emotion behind the words. This makes English feel alive, not just a list of words to memorize. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: fear. A lot of people stick to translating because they're afraid of making mistakes or not understanding everything. But here's the truth: mistakes are your best teacher. Thinking in English means letting go of perfectionism and embracing the messiness of learning. If you're worried about messing up, try practicing in low-stakes situations first. For example, join an online language exchange where you can chat with native speakers who are learning your language. It's a safe space to stumble, laugh, and learn. Platforms like Tandem or HelloTalk are great for this. The more you practice speaking and thinking in English, the less you'll need to lean on your native language as a crutch. And trust me, native speakers don't expect you to be perfect. They're just happy you're trying. Another game changer is to simplify your thoughts. Sometimes we overcomplicate things by trying to think in complex sentences right away. But native speakers don't always think in full, perfect sentences. They use fragments, slang, or even just images and feelings. When you're practicing thinking in English, start with simple phrases. For example, instead of thinking, I am extremely fatigued because I worked all day, just think, tired, long day. It's okay to keep it basic. Over time, your brain will naturally start forming more complex thoughts in English. Try this. For 1 hour a day, challenge yourself to think only in simple English phrases. If you're stuck, picture the situation or use gestures to help your brain find the word. It's like training wheels for your English brain. Let's talk about vocabulary, because having the right words at your fingertips makes thinking in English so much easier. But here's the catch. Don't just memorize word lists. That's a one-way ticket to Translation City. Instead, Learn words in context. For example, if you're learning the word challenge, don't just memorize that it means a difficult task. Watch a video where someone talks about overcoming a challenge, or read a story where the word comes up. Your brain will link challenge to a real situation, not just a translation. A great way to do this is by keeping a journal in English. Every day, write a few sentences about your day, using new words you've heard. For example, today was hectic, but I managed to finish my work. The word hectic sticks because you're using it to describe your life, not just memorizing it. Another trick is to play word association games. This is super fun and works wonders for thinking in English. Pick a word like sun and say the first English word that comes to mind, like beach. Then keep going. Waves, sand, castle. Do this for a minute or two, and you'll notice your brain starts making connections in English without detouring through your native language. You can do this alone or with a friend. It's a great way to make learning feel like a game. If you want to level up, try describing an object in English without saying its name. For example, describe a pen as something you write with. It has ink, it's long and thin. This forces your brain to think creatively in English, which is exactly what you need to stop translating. Let's not forget about listening, because what you hear shapes how you think. If you're constantly listening to English, your brain starts mimicking the patterns and rhythms of the language. Podcasts are a goldmine for this. Find one that matches your interests, whether it's true crime, self-improvement, or comedy, and listen to it daily. Don't worry about understanding every word, just let the language wash over you. Over time, you'll notice phrases popping into your head naturally, like "that's a game changer" or "let's dive in." This happens because your brain is picking up the structure of English without you even trying. If you're a beginner, start with podcasts designed for language learners like All Ears English or The English We Speak. If you're more advanced, go for something like This American Life or The Joe Rogan Experience. The key is consistency. Make it a habit, like brushing your teeth. Speaking of habits, let's talk about creating an English-only environment. Even if you're not in an English-speaking country, this is easier than you think. Change your phone, laptop, and social media to English. When you see settings instead of your native word for it, your brain starts associating the action with the English term. Label things in your house in English. Stick a note on your fridge that says refrigerator, or on your mirror that says mirror. It's a small change, but it reinforces English as the default language for your everyday life. You can also follow English-speaking creators on social media. Fill your feed with English content, memes, vlogs, or even news. The more you see and hear English, the less your brain needs to translate. Now, let's get real about stress, because that's when translating sneaks back in. When you're nervous, say in a job interview or a fast-paced conversation, your brain panics and falls back on what's familiar. To combat this, practice thinking in English in low-stress situations first. For example, have imaginary conversations in your head. Pretend you're ordering coffee or chatting with a friend about your weekend. Run through the dialogue in English, and if you get stuck, simplify or use a different word. This builds confidence, so when you're in a high-pressure moment, your brain doesn't default to translation. Another trick is to prepare for specific situations. If you know you've got a meeting coming up, think through the key phrases you might need, like, "Can you clarify?" Or, "I agree, but..." Practice these until they're automatic, so your brain doesn't have to search for translations when the pressure's on. Let's talk about dreams for a second. because thinking in English can literally change how you dream. Have you ever had a dream where you're speaking English? That's a sign your brain is starting to think in the language naturally. To get there, try immersing yourself in English right before bed. Watch an English movie, read a few pages of an English book, or even talk to yourself in English about your day. Your brain processes what you feed it while you sleep, so this can nudge you toward thinking and even dreaming in English. It's like planting seeds in your subconscious, and when they sprout, it's a game changer. Another fun way to stop translating is to mimic native speakers. This isn't about copying their accent perfectly. It's about adopting their rhythm, tone, and expressions. Watch a clip of your favorite English-speaking celebrity or comedian and repeat what they say, exactly as they say it. For example, if you love Ellen DeGeneres, mimic how she says, "All right, let's get to it," with her upbeat vibe. This helps your brain internalize the flow of English, making it easier to think in the language. Plus, it's a blast. You get to channel your inner movie star while learning. Let's not skip over the power of writing. Writing in English forces you to think in English because you're creating sentences from scratch. Start a daily journal where you write about anything, your thoughts, your plans, or even what you ate for lunch. Don't worry about grammar or spelling, just let the words flow. If you're stuck, describe the situation instead of translating. For example, instead of thinking, "What's the word for sad in English?" write, "I feel down today, like the sky is gray." This builds your ability to express yourself directly in English, which carries over to thinking and speaking. One thing I want to emphasize is patience. Thinking in English doesn't happen overnight. It's like learning to ride a bike. You wobble, you fall, but eventually you're cruising without thinking about it. Celebrate the small wins. Maybe you caught yourself thinking, "I'm hungry," without translating. Maybe you answered a question in English without hesitating. Those moments are proof you're getting there. Keep a mental or physical note of these wins to stay motivated. Every step forward is a step closer to thinking like a pro. Let's wrap this up with a challenge for all you Speak English Like a Pro viewers. This week, I want you to commit to one English thinking habit every day. Monday, narrate your morning routine in English. Tuesday, play the word association game for 5 minutes. Wednesday, watch a YouTube video without subtitles. Thursday, write 3 sentences in your journal. Friday, switch your phone to English. Saturday, mimic a native speaker's phrases. Sunday, think in simple English phrases for an hour. Thank you for joining me on this journey to stop translating and think in English like a pro. You're not just learning a language, you're unlocking a whole new way of thinking. Keep practicing, keep shining, and we'll see you in the next video. This is Speak English Like a Pro, signing off. Let's keep thinking in English.